Hi guys, so I've just been watching a few YouTube presentations about the Sean Diddy Combs bail hearing in the Southern District of New York. I was watching this law and crime presentation, and I saw a couple of others as well. And so I thought I would just update the two people who watch my my YouTube videos about that. Um, it sounds very interesting. It sounds like the hearing was adjourned until next week. The judge will make a final decision next week about whether or not to grant bail to Sean Combs. But it sounds like the experts, this guy here had on a couple of criminal defense lawyers who I consider to be experts. But then there are a couple of other YouTubers that I watch, like Murad Morelli and Tisa Tells, who are, I don't know, I don't think either one of them are lawyers, but they do have, a lot of insights and a lot of followers and so on and so forth. So I listened to them as well. I mean, Murad basically was just livid about whatever happened today. He even suggested that the judge might have been paid off by Sean Diddy Combs and his attorneys, which I thought was pretty freaking outrageous to even think such a thing. But I mean, okay. And it sounds like Tisa, I didn't get to see her whole presentation because I was very tired today, but she's also up in arms about the whole thing. And, she feels that if the prosecutors don't like the result, they can just, you know, ask for a mistrial and, bring the case over again, which I don't know, wouldn't that sort of be double jeopardy? I don't know. But so there are those two non-legal experts, and then there's these two that I listened to, which I thought were very, very seasoned, very reasoned analysis about the case, and their views really align with my views on this case. I was quite shocked. I was like, oh, okay, maybe I haven't completely lost my legal instincts because everything that they're saying is what I have been saying, what I have been thinking about this whole case. Now, they said a few other things because they're actually in the business, they're actually experts, unlike myself. And, you know, one of the things that some one of them said really has reignited for me discussions about race, privilege, and the criminal justice system in the United States, right? Now, Combs faces charges of racketeering and sex trafficking with allegations spanning over a decade, including coercion, violence, and abuse, right? Prosecutors have consistently argued that Diddy poses a significant risk of intimidating witnesses, and this has led to his bail being denied twice. Now, this latest bail package, which again, the hearing was adjourned until next week, the judge will make a decision, included a $50 million offer with strict conditions such as home confinement and security monitoring. Um, the interesting thing that was brought up that made me start to think about how much is race really playing into this was the comparison to a case involving the former Abercrombie and Fitch CEO. I thought that was a very compelling argument because basically what Diddy's lawyers are saying is that this guy, the former CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch, was granted a bail of 10 million bond, right, despite facing similar charges, if not worse charges, of international sex trafficking. And the prosecutors agreed to this bail package for Abercrombie and Fitch. There was no objection. There was no court hearing. There was nothing. It's just they agreed on consent on paper to grant this man, whose case, according to these two seasoned defense attorneys, was even worse. The allegations are even worse, if you can believe it. than Sean Combs's allegations, right? The allegations against Sean Combs, and he was granted 10 million without any of the sort of restrictive conditions, right, that are being imposed on Diddy, who is, offering 50 million, which is not only not being agreed to, but they're fighting tooth and nail and even, trying to set him up even worse by going into his jail cell, raiding his cell, taking pictures of his attorney work, privilege materials, and then trying to keep him locked up for God knows how long, knowing that their actions of going in and raiding this man's cell is totally and completely against the rules. Now, this all raises my eyebrows, because another thing that the prosecutors were saying that of why they gave the Abercrombie guy bail was because he's in his 80s and Diddy is in his 50s. I mean, how completely and totally ridiculous, preposterous, barefacedly biased can you be to go into court and say, well, this guy is 80 and this guy is 50. So this guy whose case is even worse, the allegations against him are even worse, we send him home, but we're going to keep the 50-year-old in jail because he's just younger. Stupid, right? Stupid. However, it's more than stupid because it it's a disparity that invites questions about whether race plays a role in such decisions. I mean, okay, you could say celebrity as well, but I don't think it's his celebrity. I think if you had a celebrity who was white, in this very exact scenario, I suspect that that celebrity would have gotten his $50 million bail approved, right? Similarly, if you look at Representative Matt Gaetz, who has faced allegations of sex trafficking without any criminal charges being brought against him, he continued and has continued and is continuing his political career uninterrupted, right? Now, these two cases, the Abercrombie case and the Matt Gaetz case, and the juxtaposition of Sean Diddy Combs' case, I feel underscore inconsistencies in how the legal system treats certain individuals, right, based on their skin, based on their race. The court's handling of Combs's case also highlights public pressure on both prosecutors and judges. There's a lot of public pressure, and what the risk is that you end up with what's like a social justice and not really, justice that is analyzed through the lens of what the law actually is. They sort of buckle under the pressure of social media, and people, like Murad Murali, like T. Sertels, and others who have a tremendous influence, tremendous following, 500,000 people. Between the two of them, they probably have 1 million followers, and they're only two people who are very strongly against granting Diddy bail. And it's a lot of pressure on prosecutors and judges, but is that is the law being followed? We are a nation of laws. Is social media never factored into the US Constitution when that was written, right? And so we are presumed innocent until proven guilty in our judicial and legal system in the United States. And, we also have due process. We have a right to be treated equally under the law. Why are these discrepancies and inconsistencies with the Abercrombie guy and even with Matt Gaetz? And you can't grant this man bail. He has not been adjudicated guilty of anything at this point. He's presumed innocent. And then, a good point that these people make is that he has a right to defend himself. Even if he did ask his family to put anything on Instagram, he has a right to defend himself. I think Murad would want to defend himself if he was in a situation. Tisa would want to defend herself if she was in, if not this situation. I don't think Tisa would be in this situation, but certainly any situation that you find yourself and where you find yourself, you have a right as an American under the Constitution to defend yourself. And so I don't think, him asking his children to sing happy, whatever he did to counter the negative press and the horrible PR that was being waged against him. I don't have any problems with him doing that. And it doesn't seem that the judge did either. And these two lawyers also agree he has a right to defend himself. Now, um, Combs's defense argues that the government's case is weak and they point to changed circumstances that warrant bail. I'm not really privy to what those changed circumstances are. I didn't hear anybody really talk about those changed circumstances. Even these two guys didn't really address that too much. However, the gravity of the charges and the volume of civil suits against Combs, at least 30 of them at this point, add to the complexity of the court's deliberations. Although I do think, frankly, and that's just my opinion, most of those cases are bogus bounty hunters, right? These are bounty hunters, right? Now, ultimately, I think this case reflects broader systemic issues. Racial bias is a part of the problem here in bail determinations and the influence of public perception in high profile cases. This warrants scrutiny, right? We can't have, you know, prosecutors and judges making decisions based on what people are saying on Twitter and YouTube. This is a problem, you guys. This is a problem. Everybody is entitled to their opinion, of course. And I find a lot of these people very, very entertaining, very interesting. But when you have prosecutors and judges being influenced by this stuff, by the social media stuff, and that starts to infiltrate the legal system and decisions are made based on likes and popularity and you know we are in really, really dangerous waters here with this, I think, right? We're in really, really dangerous waters with this. Now, Combs is a guy with a lot of issues, like I said. I mean, that, and apparently the tape of him beating up Cassie, the prosecutors also jimmied that tape. They spliced it up to make it even worse. I think that this case, Puffy is going to win this case. Like, this case is going to be thrown out because the prosecutors have unclean hands in this case, right? They're trying everything to make their case stronger, but they're using tactics that are not honest and transparent, right? They spliced the tape. they edited the tape to make it look even worse. But yeah, I think the impact of social media on this case is clear and it's very dangerous. But I do think racial bias is something that's at play here that a lot of people are not talking about because why do we have such a difference in how the Abercrombie case is being treated? And don't hand me this BS that this man is 80 and this other one is 50. This is total barefaced BS, and you know it, and you need to be called on it, these prosecutors. And don't tell me that, oh, it's because he asks his children to sing happy birthday on Instagram. He has a right to defend himself. He has a constitutional right to defend himself. And if defending himself means participating, in you know encouraging his family to put a narrative out there about the kind of father that they know him to be, I don't have a problem with that, and neither do these other defense attorney experts. Now, I'm not an expert on any of this. This is just my opinion. And with Murad and Tisa, I mean, these are two of my favorite YouTubers. We happen to have a difference of opinion about this case. Very strong difference of opinion. I want to see evidence before I jump on the bandwagon. I hear a lot of rumors. A lot of it is really filthy, right? Most of it I don't even repeat. As soon as they start talking about it, I just go to the next video, right? Um, but I want to see facts. I want to see evidence, right? And I do think this guy should get bail It doesn't mean he will. We'll see what the judge decides next week. The judge seems to be very fair. And these guys here agree that this judge is very, very reasonable, open-minded, willing to listen to both sides. This is very important because not all judges are like that. A lot of judges also are biased, right? But yeah, this whole thing of the prosecutors not wanting to allow this man bail under this set of circumstances while allowing bail in an even worse circumstance in the same period of time shows racial bias. This is my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Anyway, that's all for this one. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye.